Hi there, my name is Nathan, and this is Welcome to the Human Experience. And today I want to talk about the best planet in the universe. Now, hopefully it's here. I'm hoping it's here. It might not be. It might be out there somewhere else in another solar system somewhere. But I was thinking, when they say in life sometimes, dream big, have these thoughts that scare you. I was thinking, what kind of thing scares me? And I'll be honest, I was actually watching a Gary Stevenson interview, and he does Gary Economics, which is a growing channel about wealth inequality that he sees in the world. I really respect his point of view. And, basically his story is that he's come from this working class background, and he's been in a world where he's had to think about, money. And then all of a sudden, through his trading career, has made, vast sums of money, and now sees this gap. And I love what he's doing in terms of, I would imagine his mission is to let the elites and the mega rich see, the point of view from the lower class to working class, and how difficult life was for him, and how the gap is so wide that it's so unnecessary, the amount of struggle that someone goes through, and then the amount of, on the opposite end of the scale, the amount of wealth that someone has, this unimaginable wealth that they couldn't even spend in a lifetime, and then they say they're going to pass it on to the next generation. It's just crazy. Yeah. But anyway, I was thinking about that with what Gary was doing and his mission, and I was thinking, wow, what about if he completes his mission? What about if he gets through to the UK government and he helps lower the divide? Then what? And I know this is why I'm saying, like, it took me to another level of what would be my ambition. Like, wealth equality, that is a wicked goal. But like, is that it? Like, once we're all on the same kind of level money wise, everything else will just play out great. I don't think that's the case. I think it's deeper than that. And, I've been on my own journey. So Gary's been on his, he's learnt what he's learnt, and I've been on my own journey. And I would say that it's been more of a kind of, there's this feeling right now. There's a feeling in society. There's a feeling almost in the air. It's like something isn't right. And I think every new generation that's come in has to face this to a certain degree. It's nothing new. But you enter the world as a new generation, and you're almost straight away in a kind of despair. At like, wow, is this what all of the humanity has created so far? Do you know what I mean? And going back through time, there's been certain milestones that we've got to, and now it's this modern society. Do you know what I mean? But throughout that time, we've been through so many things of, there's been all kinds of war, there's been famine, there's been all kinds of hatred, division, and all that. And then there's also been this counter throughout the cultures and times of bringing people together. And I think that's a lot of what religion tries to do. Love one another, don't do bad to others, and stuff like that. So I think that's tried. And then in this modern time, it feels like a lot of artists are crying out for a better change as well. And that kind of marries in with Gary's vision as well, of like this change of more fairness and more equality. And like I say, the reason I say it's even deeper than that is that, throughout human time, we've had this back and forth with each other of not getting along, and then, moments of calm. And now we've got to a relatively kind of peaceful time in the world. A lot of cooperation and collaboration, and that has spawned this capitalistic society has come comforts, convenience, some kind of, as we call it, progress, whether that's technology or living kind of conditions. Like I say, we've built this world, especially say in the West and the more developed countries, even in the East. There's a kind of standard now, do you know what I mean, for people to have. And that now has brought about its own kind of issues, which are to say, what do we do now? Because like I say, this feeling that is going on is like of a lot of poor mental health in developed countries now, and a lot of kind of anxiety and a lot of confusion and just not knowing like your purpose as such. All this is coming into play because it appears on the outside that we have it all. You know, we can buy clothes, we can buy food, we can have entertainment and all this kind of thing. So what are we missing? That's what I'm getting at. What are we missing? And I think the thing we're missing is that we're not daring to dream of this best planet in the universe. Now, this is how I would sum it up, this best planet in the universe. You imagine this unidentified object is picked up by, you know, the space agencies, and it's heading towards Earth. And then, you know, there's this big hype and you know, there's this big kind of moment of kind of, what do you want to say, apprehension, where we realize, wow, first contact is about to take place. Yeah, we're going to meet another civilization. Now, this is what gave me this thought of like, okay, what happens when we meet them? And I feel like we're going to introduce ourselves and we're going to say about what our planet is all about. Yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're Chinese, if you're American, if you're French, if you're Malaysian, whatever the hell you are. Yeah, it does not matter. You're going to say, we are humans, and this is the kind of things that we do. You know, we have culture, we have food, we have dance, we have art, we have music, we have technology, we have, you know, the internet, we have radio, all these kind of things that are going on. We have natural wonders on our earth, and then they're going to come and they're going to imagine, like, if we really get scrutinized, they're going to say, okay, what's this? They're going to see the prison. Oh, this is how we treat the people that are no good. Oh, what's this building of? Oh, this is a care home. This is how we treat our elderly that we deem as no good, no use. And then they're going to see all these other kind of things. I think of like the aesthetics clinic. Oh, okay, why is he getting or she getting this injection? Why are you putting things into your body? You know what I mean? And they're going, and they're going to break down the woes of our society, yeah? The kind of downfalls, I feel. Because everything that's great, but they flew here and they probably know about internet and about, you know, television and about all these technologies, the car and stuff like that, and the plane. They're not impressed by that. That's something you can build. We can play with matter and manipulate it for our gains. That's what we've basically done. If you want to describe progress in humanity's time, you know, from the wheel to the spear to the biggest skyscraper to the space station, we've just manipulated the environment around us. Yeah. What have we done to our environment in doing that? And we've depleted all other life. What are these aliens going to make of that? What are they going to think of? Oh, okay, so you've literally exterminated whales and you have this conveyor belt of farm animals that you just consume, and the way you treat them. What are they going to think? Like, are we going to be proud of these kind of things? Yeah. Are we going to like show off this kind of thing? Do you know what I mean? And then we're going to go on, oh, we've got this sports car and we've got all this. And it's like, that's not impressive. What I think they're going to want to know more about is something along creativity, the arts, and also how we are as a people. You know, how we've developed emotionally, how we've developed spiritually, and where we're at with each other. How do we treat the world and each other? That to me is the barometer that a society should be judged on. That not even a society, sorry, what am I saying? A species should be judged on. Yeah, a planet should be judged on. How well do you integrate with the world around you? Not control it, not deplete it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that leads me on to say that, yeah, if they landed right now, I would be I would be ashamed. I would be really ashamed of what we're doing. And not for everyone. We're doing some great things in the world. There's a lot of kindness, there's a lot of helpfulness. But a lot of that, unfortunately, as well, is revolving around a thing we made up called money. This money has kind of dictated, unfortunately, a lot of what we do. Do you know what I mean? Like, even the type of art someone creates, they might question it because it's not popular and it's not selling at a high rate. You know, everything is valued by its price and not by actually what kind of it's giving, what it's actually providing in terms of, you know, us developing as a species. You know, what kind of things would I be proud of to present the aliens? And throughout history, that would be the people that have made a real difference. You know, these freedom fighters, these people that have wanted equality for all. You know, even these like businesses set up for charity, anything that is done for a good cause. That's the kind of things you would want to champion, yeah, to an alien. You won't want to say about all the kind of death and destruction and the fact that we've got this arms race going on between nations and that we're all divided. Like, what is that about? What is that really about? It's all just made up BS, as they say. It literally is. It literally is. No nation is better than anyone else. No race is better than anyone else. No gender is better than anyone else. We're all one people. No species is better than any other. We're all one. We should be all one. And I would definitely be championing them kind of people that praise that kind of thing. And a musician that comes to mind that has always been a voice for the people is Bob Marley. And when he said one love, that sums up the kind of energy that we need to put into this planet. You know, we don't need this division of who belongs where and who's better than who and who's a higher status and who is doing more than someone else and who's got more than someone else. That doesn't matter. All this kind of materialism and this consumerism, it's all a big distraction. All this politics, it's all a distraction just to divide. We need to come together. Yeah, I can't even understand why there's even two political parties. This whole system is so dated. Like, when you run a business, you don't have two kind of parties that are fighting to say, oh, this is how we move this business forward. You have a board and they just all have one coming together for one vision of this place moving forward. So why should not a country have that kind of dynamic? Yeah, even throughout the ages, we've had you know, this tribal kind of leadership where there's like an order to it. Do you know what I mean? And there's the elders and there's the people within that community that come together and speak on something and divide and decide as one what to do going forward. That's a democracy more, not voting for these two sides that actually just do the same thing when they get into power anyway. It's just an illusion. It's just a game to them. So yeah, in terms of vision for this planet, what do I see? You know, I see like us giving far more energy towards the positive things in society, yeah? So let me use some ridiculous examples, yeah? Why are we putting our energy into making cookie dough ice cream? What is that? Why are we putting our energy into making energy drinks? Pardon the pun. Like, they're not benefiting anyone. You've got to ask, why have you got no energy? You know, there's a rise right now, and I see it in the UK, of these drive-throughs of coffee shops and these drive-throughs of fast food chains. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this? All these things that they're supplying to us, we know they're not good for us. They might be convenient, but they're not good. You know, all these quick fixes, again, I go back to the cosmetic industry of anti-aging cream. Just accept aging, you know. And like I say, when I talk about these bad things, then to counter that, I say, what good things should we be doing? Number one, bloody hell, there should be clean water for all, yeah? Clean water, that is a basic necessity. So all these companies designing all these crazy flavored drinks, get rid of them. Get rid of them, or tell them the new agenda is making clean, safe water to drink around the world. Food. We don't want these crazy flavors of crisps and chocolate and all this kind of crap that you can just whack in the oven. We want good food. Yeah, we want wholesome, good food. And it doesn't mean it needs to be boring. We can still eat burgers and pizzas and stuff like that. But the quality of the produce, you know, it needs to be so much better. Just focus on the basics, like the best produce. In terms of industries, why are we making endless new phones, endless new cars, instead of all these car industries making money on us buying the same product again and again and again? It's just a revised version of something on four wheels. That's all it is, with updated lights, new car entertainment, new kind of gimmicky gadgets that, you know, whatever it is, the you know, lane departure stuff and whatever it is. I know some of it is safety, but I'm saying we're thinking of things wrong. We shouldn't even have this individual transport. We should have more kind of public transport. So there should be a cleanest energy form of transport. Maybe we go back to trams. Maybe we come up with these ideas with, you know, the crazy billionaires of these underground magnet drive transport systems. But again, not just for speed, for it has to be about least impact on the environment. Yeah, so imagine all the major motorways are converted into like this public transport route where there's only trams, trains, buses, and like they all branch off into the cities. And then from there, you get off at that station, a bit like an underground kind of system. They're just so frequent, but you don't need all these cars then. And it's much more efficient and quicker. You get off and maybe you go in your electric little pod or your electric bike or some kind of electric rickshaw or something like that, you know, just to take you on that final bit of your journey. Or heaven forbid, you walk. You walk, yeah, like what's the rush to get somewhere so fast? So yeah, we need definitely different ways of doing stuff. Even our housing, it's so dated. Like we need other ways of living. We need more communal ways of living. When I see these new build estates, the way they're laid out, people are just happy that there's a park and maybe a bit of a path going into like a meadow or something that is on the edge of this new build estate. But like the way we're living, the block kind of setup design of these things, it's not conducive of community. Yeah, maybe these houses could be made in a more kind of inclusive way, you know, of like having little pockets that are all facing each other within close proximity, that have little allotment plots and community centers within them, and not just like a pub or something random, you know, that is just not benefiting again society, you know, a wellness center or something like that. Everything needs revising. So yeah, there's going to be some growing pains of us getting through this kind of turmoil. But the thing is, what I get back to is it takes us away from this desperate state that we're in of burnout, depression, despair. We're disillusioned with our future. We want a bright future. And I think that's what we need to imagine. We need to, you know, you get these picture boards and they say, imagine being a millionaire. Scrap that. Scrap that. Imagine being the person that sparks the change in society that we need right now. Imagine that. That is something that is important. That is something that is life-changing for the whole Earth, for the whole species. Yeah, and that's what we need right now. So yeah, that's all I've got time for now on the human experience, and I'll see you next time. Peace.